Hey everybody, Derek here. I'm here to bring you another video for our Walking Dead countdown to the season 5 premiere. Today we are exactly 3 days away from our upcoming 5th season premiere on October 12th. I'm getting really excited, folks. I'm really anxious to see what they have to show us in season 5, and I'm very, very excited. And today I wanted to do a video on 5 characters that I hope to see introduced in season 5. This video is definitely going to contain some spoilers because if you read the comics, then you'll kind of know what I'm alluding to, but I don't want to give away too much because, again, I don't want to spoil anybody that doesn't want to be spoiled. And, you know, the show is definitely going to go in certain directions. At least that's what we've been hearing. And again, that's only if you're following along. I don't want to spoil anybody, so if you don't want to be spoiled, please do not watch the video. Okay. So what I was referring to just earlier was the Alexandria safe zone that we've been told that potentially by season 5's end, the group will make their way to Washington and make their way to Alexandria. Now, when that will happen, I don't know, because I was definitely trying to figure that out as I was going along, and I think they're going to do it one of two ways. That they're either going to do a time jump in between the mid-season finale and the mid-season premiere and do it then, or that we're going to see them get to Alexandria near the end of the season, but not necessarily the last episode. At least that's how I think they're going to do it. I've always wondered whether the Gareth, Terminus storyline is going to last more than 8 episodes. I think it could. But I think that I don't think that the group's going to follow them all the way to Washington. Like, I think that if they escape the area, I don't think that Gareth and them are just going to, try to go from Georgia to Washington just to get them. At least that's what I think. But, I definitely think that, there's a long distance from Washington and Georgia. And one of the things that I was thinking was, well, they could potentially, end the mid-season finale with them on the road, and then season 5 part 2 in the spring picks up and they're like on the way and they've covered like several states. I could see that happening. That's how the comics did it. I mean, you could kind of see the progression, but like from issue to issue, it's like one issue they might be in Kentucky, but the next one they might be in Virginia. I mean, you just don't know, and it just depends on the way that they do it in the TV show. But there are lots of characters in in the Alexandria safe zone that just have a big impact on the story. And they introduce so many. And one of the things that I realize is it's going to be hard to introduce every single one of them into the TV show. And I don't know if they will. That's definitely a big cast. That's a lot of, trying to work around everything. And I mean, maybe and it's going to really depend on, how many characters they kill off in season 5 from our original Rick's group. Because it's clear they're going to have to kill a few people in order to get to Washington, because otherwise you're just going to have too big of a cast and you're not going to be able to balance that out with the new Alexandria safe zone people. And I guess it's really just going to depend on how they're going to go about the story after this. But I basically wanted to pick 5 characters from Alexandria safe zone that I want to see introduced regardless. If I could only pick a couple, these would be the ones that I would want to see. So I'm going to start out with number 5, and that is Holly. In the comics, Holly is a member of the Alexandria safe zone. She is part of like the construction crew. Like, she goes out and gathers building supplies. And Abraham saves her life. And Abraham and Holly actually end up in a relationship. But I just think that aside from that, yes, it could give Abraham a storyline. But the other thing that I like about Holly is that she's very tough. And she definitely plays a big role in the comics. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because if you don't read them or you don't get caught up, I don't want to spoil you. But Holly is definitely a very essential part of the comics, and I think that having her in the Walking Dead TV show would definitely pay off. I think that it would be a very great character. I think they could make her just as tough as she is in the comics. And it's always nice to have that tough female presence on the show that you have with Michonne, that you have with Tara, that you have with Maggie, that you have with Sasha. And I just think that, and Beth, sorry, I don't want to leave Beth out. She definitely has proven that she is a very tough character as well. And I just want to see, because I think that they might kill like a couple characters off, and I think that balancing that out with a character like Holly would be absolutely great. So Holly is my number 5. Number 4 is going to be Jesse, and Jesse is definitely a big part of the comics as well. And you actually see her have a big impact on Rick in the comics. And I think that that is something that they could definitely play to their advantage in the TV show. I think that it would bring out a different side of Rick, if he met Jesse and the way that the storyline goes in the comics. I think that she's definitely a very important character, and I think that we can definitely explore how Rick is and, see him have a little bit more of a lighter moment in the show. Again, I think that it can be used, for different purposes, and I also worry because, like, part of me doesn't want Rick to find love for a long time because I think that unfortunately love is a big distraction in the Walking Dead world. Not saying I don't love Glenn and Maggie. I mean, that's a great thing. But I just think that too many relationships popping up all over the place is just going to distract the audience, in my opinion. Having Glenn and Maggie is a great thing. But the other thing is that having too many relationships to focus on, I think would be detrimental to the show. And I think that having Rick maintain this leadership tough role guy, I think would benefit the show a lot more than a romance with Jesse. But we'll see. I think it can work the other way around too. I mean, I think that as long as they don't drag it out too long, then I think again they can really make a difference with it. Or perhaps if they change it up. So it can work either way. But I think that having Jesse would definitely be a very good idea for the show. If they play it a couple different ways, and I would really like to see her. I think that she's very important in the comics. Number 3 is going to be Aaron. Now, Aaron is the recruiter, basically. He goes out and he spies on groups and he observes them and he sees if they are Alexandria Safe Zone material. Because if they're too, evil, like he would not let the governor into Alexandria. No way. But if they if they appear to be working well together, if they appear to be humane, if they appear to, be material for the Alexandria Safe Zone, he'll reveal himself and be like, hey man, I'm Aaron. And I think that I think that it's very essential to have Aaron. Because one of the things that we're going to definitely be focusing on, in my opinion, once we get to Alexandria Safe Zone, is these people are not going to be very trustworthy at first. Because they've had bad experiences with Woodbury, they've had bad experience with Terminus, where they thought, with Terminus especially, hey, we're going to go to this nice place, it's going to be a new environment, and we're going to have new hope. And no, it's not. It's very bad. And if, Aaron comes out and goes, hey guys, how you doing? It's like, who the heck are you? And you're promising this? You have any idea what we've been through? I mean, they're not going to believe in the perfect community anymore, and they're not going to believe that there's anywhere safe. So I think that it would definitely be a very good storyline for them, because at this point, yeah, Rick's group is going to go to Washington, it looks like, but the other thing that you have to remember is that there's going to be a lot of, questions about what are we going to do when we get there, and especially if you have Aaron coming out and, saying that there's this great community for them. After their experiences at Terminus, they're really not going to be, open to that idea. They're going to be very skeptical. And it's understandable, but I think that you can see those interests clash a little bit and then see how it turns out. But I think that'd be a very good storyline. I think it's very essential to have Aaron. Number 2 is going to be Heath. And Heath is a very good character. I mean, he basically he's like the equivalent of Glenn he's a scavenger. He goes out and he gathers medicine, he gathers food, he gathers supplies for the Alexandria Safe Zone community. And I think that he's a very, very important character. He definitely plays a big role in the comics. And you also see that he starts to warm up to Rick and his group. Like, he's like, hey, these guys are very good people. They have helped us more than, than we've ever been able to, do for ourselves in the past. I mean, and he's definitely very appreciative of Rick's group. And I think that it's very important that they have people in there that support Rick and his group. Because it's clear that just like in the comics, when they get to Alexandria, they're going to have a big impact on the community because they've been out there longer than other people and they know how things work. And they're going to be like, hey, this isn't going to work. This here's not working. And it's going to definitely rub some people the wrong way. And to have support from somebody like Heath would be very, very important. I think that Heath is a very good character. I don't think that you can have the Alexandria Safe Zone without him. So I'm really hoping that they follow through with that. And number one, the character that I hope to see the most in the Alexandria Safe Zone is going to be Douglas Monroe. Even though Douglas, is only there for a little bit, nonetheless, Douglas is definitely a big part of it. And I know that Trev on Trev's Chan 2 made a video once about who should play Douglas Monroe. And I think he said that Bryan Cranston should play him. And I think that'd be a very interesting and great idea. I hope they make that work. But nonetheless, whether they get whoever to get to play him, I still want to see Douglas because Douglas is definitely somebody that's very different. He's very interesting as a character. The way he runs the town is a little interesting. His attitude is just very different. But I think that we definitely need to see him in Alexandria Safe Zone and just see the Rick Douglas feud because they do disagree for a little bit. And you see how things change between them as the comics go on. But I think that it's definitely essential to have that storyline. Without Douglas, it's like, well, who exactly is running this place? And somebody has to be, an authoritarian figure. And I think that it would be very great to see Douglas in the TV show, no matter who he's played by. But I think that he's very essential. If you're going to have a certain number of characters, I think you have to have Douglas. There's just no way around it. Otherwise, you're leaving out a lot of great storylines, great potential, and I think that it would just be a very big mistake. So I'm hoping to see him as well. Okay. So thanks everybody for watching. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. Feel free to subscribe. I have more videos coming. And don't be afraid to suggest any kind of video topics. I mean, I'm definitely open to receiving suggestions. I want to know what you guys want to hear. I really do appreciate you watching my videos. And I just want to, again, thank everybody so much. I hope you all have a wonderful day. We are 3 days away, and I'm getting real excited. Thanks, everybody.